Let's understand the how to work with the Jdbc. In today's session, we'll discuss. Okay. Okay, Jdbc is actually one Java-based technology. It's Java technology that is given for the connecting from Java application to any database servers. It may be, we can connect from Java application to MySQL, Oracle, Postgres, whatever the database are available, which you can able to connect. That feature is you can able to get with the Jdbc. Okay. Now it stands for Java database connectivity. The name itself is just give the meaning Java database connectivity. Okay, connecting the Java application and database, we have to use the Jdbc. Now, technically, a Jdbc is called a specification. It's a specification that is actually given by the Sun Microsystems because Java was with Sun Microsystems earlier. Now, later it is taken over by Oracle Corporation. Okay. So it is actually given as a specification in the 1997. So this specification contains API, that is application programming interface things, which will provide several interfaces, several implementation classes which are available. And also it will provide rules and guidelines of how to work with that specification. You will get it. Okay. So here, where rules are actually given as abstract methods in the form of interfaces and abstract classes, and guidelines which are given in the form of concrete, that means actual implementations. Okay. Now, this specification having some versions like Jdbc 1.x version, 2.x, 3.x, 4.x. Okay, current version is 4.x version. Okay, which is available. Okay. Now, so what we have to do with the Jdbc? We have to connect the Java application with the database servers. Okay, and this Jdbc specification will be given in two packages. So when we are working with Jdbc, we'll work with these two packages: java.sql package, javax.sql. These are the two packages are given. And in these two packages, you'll find the several interfaces and several classes. Okay, that can be used for the connecting. And so based on this Jdbc specification, Jdbc driver softwares are developed. Because in order to connect with the actual thing is we require the Jdbc driver is required. Those Jdbc drivers are actually developed based on the Jdbc specification that is given by the Oracle Corporation or Sun Microsystems. Okay. So what is the role of this Jdbc driver? Let's understand. This is a very important entry question. Okay. Each point is my entry question. What is Jdbc is an entry question. What you can do with Jdbc, that's the entry question. Okay. And what is Jdbc driver? It's an entry question. Okay. So let's understand what is Jdbc driver. So you can consider this Jdbc driver as a bridge. It acts as a bridge. It's as a bridge software between Java and database server. It acts as a bridge between Java application and database server. Okay. And now it is responsible to convert Java calls to database calls and vice versa. Database calls to Java calls, because Java application cannot understand the MySQL script. SQL it won't understand. Even SQL won't understand the Java code. But how to convert this one? How do you have a communication? So this driver software will take that responsibility. So this driver software will convert, it will work as a a translator or converter you can consider. Okay, that's why, as I say, it's as a bridge. Okay, and that is responsible to convert the Java calls to database calls and database calls to Java calls, vice versa. So we'll have like Jdbc driver for each and every database server. We have Jdbc driver for the Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, DB2, Postgres. What are the database servers that are there in the industry? For every database, there is a one driver software is available. So if you want to connect with Oracle, you have this Oracle provided Jdbc driver, you have to use it. You want to connect from Java application to MySQL provided driver, we have to use it. That will be given in the form of jar file, okay, that I am going to use it. And so all these database vendors, all these database server vendors, they already implemented this driver software for the respective vendor, for respective database server. Okay, just we have to use it. That's it. Now, if you look at the simple architecture of Java application and DB server, how it will be used. So from Java application, this is a Java application, and this is the database server. Okay, MySQL server. So if you want to connect with this, then between we require Jdbc driver for MySQL is required. Okay, so it is responsible to connect. For example, Java application cannot communicate directly with database server. It's not possible. The communication will happen only through the corresponding Jdbc driver only. Okay, and so if you want to connect with MySQL, we require the Jdbc driver from MySQL. We have to use. So if you want to connect with Oracle, then you have to use the Oracle provided driver. We have to use Oracle provided driver. We are supposed to use it. Okay, and we don't have a common driver. We don't have a common driver that can be used connect. No, we don't have it. Okay, and these drivers are actually database dependent. Okay, for the particular database, we have to use that particular database. That's it. Okay, clear? Clear, everybody? Are you getting? Okay, next. Okay, let's understand what are the steps we need to follow in order to develop a first Jdbc application. So if you want to develop Jdbc first application, these are the steps. These are the steps we need to follow. Now, the first step is you must have the database. You must have the database, and you must have some tables. Okay, database design should be there. Then after that, then you can create the project in Eclipse. You can use Eclipse, okay, directly to create the project. And we need to download one jar file that is called MySQL connector jar. So this jar file will provide the corresponding libraries, which will be used to connect with the corresponding database server. Okay. So you want to work with MySQL, we require the MySQL connector jar file required. You want to Oracle provided jar file, we have to use it. You want to connect with the Postgres SQL, we have to use the corresponding provided jar file. Okay. And after that, so once we have to just download it, after that we have to add that jar file to the project. That is called technically build path. Build the path for the MySQL. Okay. Then after that, you can write the Jdbc program, Java program, you can write it and you can test it. Now, these are the 6 steps we need to follow. Okay, then only we can able to connect. So now we'll see one simple example, what I'm going to do. Okay, in this first program, we'll create some employee table. We'll create employee table with some fields, and we'll insert some data in the database server directly. Then after that, we'll write a Java program to retrieve this data from Java application. Okay, that we will see. So before that, I required one thing. First, before creating the database, first I can download this. I want to download this jar file. Okay, how to download? This is the very important thing. Now you can open the browser. Now first I'm trying to download. Now you can search for the MySQL MySQL connector jar. Just search for MySQL connector jar. Okay, this is the one thing you need to do. Now open this. Okay, now I'm getting the version. Which version I want to use it? This is showing for connector 9.5 version, but I want to use the 8.x version. Click on the archives. Okay, and here you can find the version. Okay, now I want to use the 8 point. Last 8 point. Which database we have used? Okay, let me just. We can check in our. Let me check in my mission. What is the database server we have seen? Okay, in my mission, I have yes, can you see that? This is a MySQL connector. Now, which version we have? 8.0.42. This is the version we have installed. In my mission, I have installed this version. I hope we have installed the same version, 8.0.4. Okay, now then here also you have to check the same. So here, product 8.0.8.0.4. 8.0.42. Something 8.0.4. Okay, or you can, it will work, no problem. You can use 8.0 instead of 8.1 something, 8.0 something. You can check it. It will work, no problem. Okay. Now, then here, okay, then here you need to just select the, it is showing operating system, but you need to select the platform independent. Okay, you don't select any operating system, just select the platform independent. So when you select this platform independent, you'll find these two options. Platform independent, you'll find these two. One is 4M and MB. Now this is target, compress target file, zip archive. Okay, zip file I require. I require the zip file. You can see this zip.zip. And here you can see this target. I require the zip. Okay, zip version you have to download. Okay. And click on download. Now it's getting downloaded. Here we don't need to install actually. Okay, you need to download this zip file. Just it's getting completed. Yeah, so it's completed. Now just go to that downloaded location. Okay, now this is actually the zip file. Okay, you can extract it. Okay, you can extract this. Right click, and you can use extract, or you can use it, or you can use a WinRAR to extract. Okay, extract here. Now okay. Let me extract to this folder. Yeah. Okay. Now there is a folder. Once I extract, you can see this folder. So we required only one file. This is the file. MySQL connector J 8.0.33. Okay, this is actually the jar file. This is a jar file. Okay. And you can do one thing. You can keep this just after exploring this, after just extracting this, you can copy this jar file. Just copy. Okay, you can copy and you can keep it in some location. Any location you can keep. Let's say I want to keep it in the C drive. I'll just create one my jar files. Okay, you can just keep it that file only. We require only that file. Okay. Now instead of keeping in the download folder, I just create one folder, my jar files, and I just paste it inside. Okay, keep this file handy. Okay, this file is mandatory. Okay, so this is an important step. Okay, first step, we need to ensure this, it should be available. Okay, this is one thing you have to ensure. Okay, then one step is done. What is the step we have done? This step. Okay, third step we have done. Then we'll create the database. We'll create the database and show that we'll see that steps. Okay. Next, now then I want to create the database. Now I'm opening the MySQL workbench. Okay, you can create the database using MySQL client if you want. Otherwise, you can go with the MySQL workbench. In the last session, we have discussed how to work here. Now let's say I want to connect here. Connect. Then here you can create the one table. Okay, you can create a table. Now in which database you want to create, that's up to you. Okay, let's say you want to create one DB, you can create it. Let's say I want to create one DB for this. Let's create one schema. Schema means DB. Okay. HTTP 1234 hyphen Jdbc. Okay, this is how I'm just creating here. H2 1234 underscore Jdbc. This is actually the schema. This is the database I'm just creating. Okay, a new schema I'm creating here. And you can see that schema. H2 1234 underscore Jdbc. Okay, now we have that. So inside that, now I'm going to create one table. Okay, I'm creating one table. Create table. In the last session we have discussed, right? How to create this. Let's create one table as employee. Okay, employee. Then I want to create the columns. ID, integer, primary key and not null, let it be. And name, employee name, character, employee, salary field. Okay, let's consider these three fields. I want to make it as a float or double letter. Okay, let it. Okay, now I'm just apply, finish. Now see here. Now we have the table employee. Now the employee table is created. Now ID, name, salary. Now I want to add. Two records. We'll add it. Okay. ID 1001. Name Raj. Salary 55,000. Okay. And another record 1002. Fish 45,000. Okay, two records. Then after that, click on apply. Apply. Finish. Now we are ready with our database and we are ready with the employee table. Okay, this step is done. The step, create the database design is done. Okay, then we need to create the project and we need to get started with it. Okay, clear? Up to here, is it clear? Please confirm, everybody. Okay. So now I have, I'm ready with Eclipse. Okay, I'm ready with Eclipse. Eclipse workspace we already have, we are working, right? I just use the same workspace. So now what I'm going to do now here, just okay. Now let's create our JDBC project. How do you create? JDBC is not like just like it's not a new thing. Just like a Java project can create it. Now you know how to create a Java project, right? Okay, let's do that. Go to the file menu, create a Java project. Create Java project. Now I'm naming the project as JDBC project 1. Okay, I'm naming it as JDBC. Let's go project 1. Okay, then click on next. So click on next here, and let me finish it. Click on next, finish. Just finish it. Now we are with JDBC project. Okay, create the project. So after creating the project, what we need to do? We need to. This is very important. Okay, we are ready with MySQL connector job. We are ready with the MySQL connector job, right? So that we need to create the build path for MySQL connector job. Okay, this is the thing we have to do it. So let's do that. Now what I'm going to do, just click here. Right click on the project. Right click on the project. Just right click on the project. Can you find the option build path? If you right click on the project folder, you can find the build path option, build path. Then last option, that is configure build path. Okay, you have to select this. Click on it. So now after that, now you'll get it here. You'll get the window. This is the window. Source, projects, libraries. Okay, something like this you can find. Okay, so what you need to do, select the libraries tab. Make sure you have to select the libraries tab. Can you see that? Libraries tab. Okay, so under the libraries, you can find the two things, module path. Under the module, you can find JRE, or Java runtime environment, you can find it. Okay, JDK 24 MB we have here, that we can find. So second one is class path. Class path. Okay, that we are supposed to use. You have to select the under the libraries class path. Then you have to click on this button. You can find right side some button, add jars, external jars, something. You have to say second option, add external jars. Okay, you have to select that. So when you select the external jars, now you'll get the pop-up. You get the pop-up, right? You have the pop-up for the file upload. Okay. Now then we have downloaded that jar file. And where we have kept it? I just store somewhere, right? We store somewhere. Okay, I have downloaded that jar file, MySQL jar file. I just keep inside the C drive. Inside C drive, I have created one folder, right? What is the folder name? My jar files. We have created this folder. So inside that, I have just kept it, the one which I have downloaded. Okay, now select that. Go to the location where you have saved, that jar file, MySQL connected jar file. You have to go to that location and select it. Okay, now you can see that. Now under the class path, you can see that the file. Okay, then click on apply and close. So these are the steps we need to do it. Okay, then after adding this one, you'll find this folder inside the project. So before that, you will find only JRE, system library, and SRC. But when you add this class path, you'll find this one more folder, referenced libraries. So if you expand, you can find that jar file. If you expand that, you'll find the jar file, you can find it. Yes, can you see that? It's there, right? The same. Now it is a location where it is, I have saved. Okay. Now this is the step we are supposed to do. This is called build path. This step is called create the build path. Okay, clear? Okay, now we are done with that. Then finally, we need to write the Java program for Jdbc program. How to write it? Just normally how the Java files you can create. Now inside the SRC, right click, create a new class. Create a new class. Select the class and create a new class. I'm giving a class name. If you want to use the package, you can use, otherwise leave it. Okay, no problem. Let's say I want to use get all employees. I'm creating one class as get all employees. Get all employees is a class I'm going to create. So now I'm going to have a main method. So what we require? We require some database connection details. Now we want to connect to the MySQL server, right? We want to connect with MySQL server. So when you want to connect with server, we require some details. So if you observe here, this is MySQL workbench. So the MySQL workbench we have connected, right? So to connect this one, what we have done in the home, we have this connection, right? This connection we have done. So when you create the connection, if you remember, we have set this connection, right? This is the local host, port number 3306. Okay, it is the address of that. Okay, we are going to use these details while we connecting. Okay, now we require some credentials. So we require some create. Now MySQL server details. Okay, server details we need to store it. Now let's understand how to store it. So we required 4 things. One is a driver, URL, username, and password. These are the 4 things we need to keep handy. And now I'll show you how to get it. Okay, now I'm taking 3-4 variables. String. First one is driver. Okay, driver name or driver you can take. Okay, driver. Next one is URL. Next one is username. Next one is pass. Okay, we require these 4: driver name, URL, username, password. So this driver and URL will be varied from database to database. So when you want to connect with MySQL, we require to use the MySQL provided driver. And you are also same thing. Okay. You need to remember this. You need to remember the driver name. Okay. What is the driver name? Where the driver is available? Driver actually it is the actual one class which is available in the jar file. In the jar file it is available. So where you can find that. So within the reference libraries, this if you expand this jar file contains the so many packages. These are all the packages. com.mysql or CJ. These are all the packages. Now Jdbc. This is the package. Inside that you will find the one driver. That is the driver. Now this is actually the driver class which is present in this package. That location we need to specify here. Okay, how to get this one? You can type directly. I'm just showing. Copy the qualified path. Okay, this is actually the location. So you have to specify that driver, up to driver, we have to store this location. Okay, this is the actual driver. Okay, you can directly type it, no problem. You can directly type this com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc driver. Otherwise, you can just go expand it and you can copy and paste it. Okay, that's all. But remember it. Okay. Okay, now we are ready with the driver. Okay, driver, this is a package. Now driver class present in com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc. Okay, under this package, you will find it. Okay. Next, URL. So URL is also different. Okay, you have to remember this. So URL is jdbc colon mysql colon double forward slash local host colon 3306. Okay, clear? Are you getting? JDBC colon MySQL colon double forward slash local host 3306. Okay, this is actually the URL. So the URL should be concatenated with the database name. So this is actually address. This is actually address of your MySQL server in our current mission, current local mission. You will this address. Okay, this is 3306. Where this 3306? As I shown you already here. So when you're connecting here, you'll find that we are already using 3306 is a port number. Okay, and 127.0.0. This is a local host port. So you can write this port number or local host, that will be fine. Okay, both are same. So then after that, so which database you need to connect? Now I have special location of the MySQL server. So inside the MySQL server, we have so many databases, right? So which database you want to connect? So I want to connect with H2 123.123.4 underscore JDBC. This is the database name I want to connect. So you need to specify that name. H2 JDBC underscore 1234 underscore JDBC. It is a name, right? Whatever the name you have given, the same name you have to suppose use. If you don't specify what happened, you will get the error. I'll show you what will happen if you don't get it. Then, so after that, we require the user. So by default, I am connected with admin user. Admin user name is root. Admin user name is root is the admin user. Same root you have to suppose this. And what is the password? Okay, MySQL password you're supposed to enter. What is the MySQL password? In my mission, I have set the password is Seshu. But in your mission, what is the password? You have set the password as a root, I think, right? You can use the same thing. Okay. But don't use my password, it won't work for you. Okay. Now, these are the 4 things we need to keep in hand. Okay. And we have to remember this driver name and URL. If you change any of these things, it will give error. I'll show you. Okay. What will happen if you just enter invalid URL? Okay. I'll show you. Now, these are the things you need to keep in hand. Okay. Clear up to here? Please confirm. Are you clear? Are you clear? Everybody. Okay. Okay. Next. So the first step after just getting this data, first step is loading. Loading driver. First step is loading driver class. This is the first step we need to perform. Okay. So to load this, we need to load this driver here. So to load this driver, we required one statement, class dot for name. And we need to pass this driver variable. This is the driver, right? Driver name we have just over here, right? That driver name we need to pass. Class dot for name we need to call. Now this class dot for name, when you are use this statement, so you need to handle the exception, that is class not found exception. You can handle it by using prime cache. Otherwise, if you want to bypass it, just add throws. Now I'm adding add throws. Throws declaration. Okay, then it will be added. Okay, let it be. I'm not handling for this example. So I'm just bypassing add throws. So this is actually what this will do. Let's understand the step. Class.forName. It return the corresponding class object of this associated interface of class. Now we have provided this driver class, right? That is present in this package. This object will be this class.forName. It will load that corresponding class object and it will create that object and it will provide at runtime. That is the meaning of this class.forName statement. Okay, remember this. Then next, second step. Okay, we are loading the driver. Driver is loaded. After that, we need to establish the connection. Establish connection. Okay, to establish the connection, we require one object, driver manager. Okay, driver manager. Now it is present in java.sql package. As I said, all these are available in this java.sql package as I shown you already, right? So you need to get this. So after that, now you need to call one statement, one method, get connection with 3 arguments, URL, username, and password. So you need to call this method, get connection method, and passing these 3 properties, URL, username, and password. So you need to handle one more exception that is called SQL exception. SQL exception you need to handle. Here also you can bypass it. Okay, I'm not handling, I'm just bypassing. Because these are checked exceptions, you must handle it. Otherwise, we'll get compilation. Okay, then this driver.connection get connection method, what is return type? It return the connection object. Okay, so you can store that into the connection. Store this into the connection type. Now connection is actual interface. Can you see that? I means interface as we know that. Okay, so it return the connection interface and driver manager, it's a class. Okay, so how we are getting the connection object? To get the connection object, we are calling driver manager dot get connection method by passing URL, username, and password. Okay, remember this. Okay, now we are okay with connection. Connection is ready. So the next third step, we need to have we need to execute the query, right? I need to send. Let's say what my requirement is. I want to retrieve the data. I want to retrieve the employee details. We have created that employee table, right? I want to process the select query. That is my requirement. Okay, I'm just storing this. Let's see. I'll take SQL query. Which query I want to process? Select star from employee. Okay, now my requirement is I want to process this select query. This query I'm supposed to. So if you call this select query, you will get the employee details, right? As we know. So now my requirement is I want to process. To process this SQL query, after getting the connection, we need to create one statement object. Statement object. Okay, we need to create the create statement object. Okay, now this statement object which is capable to handle the queries. Okay, let's do that. So how I am getting the statement object after getting the connection? After getting the connection, you can call connection dot create statement. Yeah. Now after getting the connection, you can call create statement method to get the connection. Now it returns the statement object. Now this statement you have to import from java.sql package only. Okay, you'll get some other packages also. You have to ensure. It should be imported from java.sql package. The package name should be SQL package. Okay, you have to ensure it. Okay, now we are okay with statement object. Okay, this works as a vehicle. Now it is responsible to send the queries. Okay, now to process which query, select query, right? And this statement object will have the so many methods are there. And we can use those methods to process different queries. Okay, next. Which query I want to process? Let's say process query. Process the SQL query. Now, how to process SQL query? We can call a statement object dot. So which query we want to process? Select query, right? Select query I want to process. To process select query, we have a method called execute query method. Okay, what method we have to call? To process the SQL query. So to process the SQL query, we require the execute query method. Now see here. Execute the given SQL statement and which returns, it returns the single result set. Return type of this method is result set. And SQL statement to send to the database, typically static SQL select query. Okay. Remember, we can use this execute query method to process only select query. Okay. So return type of this method is result set. So let me store that into the result set. So result set, I'm taking one variable result set. So result set is also imported from this. See here, all these objects are imported from java.sql package. Okay. Check the packages if it's not working. Okay. Then you just do the practice. Result set, we got the result set. Now process the SQL query. Which query? Select query I'm processing. That's why I'm using execute query. Now I'm processing the select query here. Okay. To process select query, we require the execute query method. Okay. Now the query will, after processing the query, then you'll get the result as a result set. Okay. Then I want to access it. I want to access the data. Then fifth step I am just performing here. Access results. Okay, access the result set. To access the result set, what we need to do? We have some methods in the result set. And I want to use one while loop, which I want to just check whether it has a next records are present or not. So we have this method called rs.next. Okay, result set or next method. This method checks whether this result set is got some result or not. Whether it is pointing to some records or not, it will check it. If the records are available, it return true. That means records are available, then we can get it. So until the records are available in the result set, it will iterate the one by one record. So how to get, this will check the results are available or not. The records are available. So after the once the records are available, we cannot get complete row at a time. It's not possible. What you have to get? You have to get one by one field. Okay. For that requirement, we need to call. I'm using SOP to print on the console. rs dot get method. Rs dot get method. Now this get method, you can call the corresponding type. For example, suppose go to the database. Now this is a database, right? This is our table, employee table. So employee table ID, name, salary. So ID is integer, name is a varchar, salary is double or integer you can call. Okay. So the same here also. When you want to access that properties, we have to call the corresponding methods. Get int method. So get int method, column index name or column name you have to specify. Column name is, what is the column name is? ID. So specify the within double quotes ID. Okay, I'm specify column name. Okay. Then after that, I want one more field. Get string. To read the varchar field property value, we need to call the string. In the database, if it is integer, you can call get int method. In the database, if it is a varchar type, data type, you have to use the get string method. Okay. Now name is the field. Column name, these are the column names. Okay, remember database column names. Next, orange dot get. We can use double or you can float or you can use no problem. Okay, get double method. I'm trying to use it. And let's say salary field. Okay. Now this is the to retrieve the data. Now we are using orange dot next method to check next record is present or not. If it is present, get that one by one field by. And remember, we cannot get complete record at a time. It's not possible. We have to get one by one field. Okay. So after now, this will get the data. So finally, what we need to do? So once your operation is done, we need to close the resources. We need to close the resources which are open. What are the resources which are open? You have to close it. Okay. Now we open the result set, we open the statement, we open the connection. We need to close all these things. Okay. Let me close the reverse order. First we open connection, after that statement, after the result set. So first you need to close the result set first. RS dot close method. RS dot close next statement. Statement dot close. Close the statement. Next connection dot close. Okay. This is how we can able to take it. Okay, closing the resources. Then, if everything is fine, now I don't see any mistakes, but let's say, let me run it. Okay, if they have mistakes, I'll just get it. Now let me run it. Now we can run it as Java application normally. Okay, we can right click, run as a Java application. Okay. Yeah, I got the output. Okay, getting output as a first term, first time. Okay, when you run it, that is a bad programming practice. I am doing bad programming, but while you're doing, get some errors. Okay. Getting errors is a good programming. Okay, because you will learn something. Because I'm an experienced in this one, that's why I don't have any. But when you type it, you will get so many errors. Okay, I'll show you what are the errors you'll get. Now, successfully, I'm able to get these details. See here, I got it, right? Now you want to print some message also along with this one, you can get it. This is employee ID. I want to concat. Let's concat this. Some message. Employee name. Employee salary. Okay, concat. We'll get some messages. Okay, okay, we got this. Now we have the two employees we are able to get. Now, if you observe, we are successfully, I'm connected with MySQL server from Java application. Get all employee details I got. Now in the employee table, we have two records. That's very common. Let's do one thing. I'm going to the MySQL server. Now I'll insert one new record. Okay, I'll add one new record 1003. I'll take it. Bala and the salary 65 plus. Okay, I'm going to add one new record. Click on apply. Apply. Finish. Now we have three records. Now we have three records in the data. Employee table. Now let me run this program now once again. Java. Yes, can you see that? I'm able to get that newly added record, third record. Can you see that? This is how we can able to get it. Okay. This is how we can able to connect from our Java application to MySQL server. Okay. So now let me show you some errors. Okay, if everything is working fine, it is not good actually, right? That's why I'm saying I'm doing some bad programming. That's why I'm getting limited output. But when you do the practice, you at least get errors. Okay, that is a good programming, especially for the beginners, right? Now let me show you. Suppose let's say this is actually the driver name, right? So what I'm doing here, I'll just change this. Let's say driver. I'm just keeping this D as a small d, not capital. Now let me run. See here. I just changed that capital to small. Now see the error. Exception thread name java.lang class not found exception import. See here. This is this now it is not present actually, right? Because I changed it. Actual class name is driver D capital, but I changed it. That's why we got an error. Okay. And make sure it should be D capital. So, and one more thing here actually. Now this step one, you can comment it. Step one is not mandatory. Step one is not mandatory. Even if you don't write this statement, your program will work. That means if you don't, even if you don't use this driver here, I'm not using driver. Okay. So even it will work, no problem. Can you see that? Step one is optional, but intro point of view, you have to ensure these all steps. Okay, but you can give some comment. They will ask you, is loading driver is mandatory? Then you can say it's not mandatory. Okay, it's mandatory. It's not mandatory. Okay, remember. But in that beginner versions, it is mandatory. Okay, but in especially from Java 6 onwards, which is not mandatory this time. Okay, remember that. These are the interview questions. Okay, and next question is next one error. Let's suppose this is a URL, right? So in the URL, I'm trying to change something. Now this is the database we are connected. H21234 underscore G. Let's say I change it. 1 to Jdbc. I just remove C. DB name is it's not DB name is invalid. It's not there. Then what will happen? Now you'll get error. SQL syntax error. See here, SQL syntax error exception. So it is clearly saying description that is unknown database. It is unknown. It's not able to find that database name in the MySQL server because it's not there, right? It is actually Jdbc underscore Jdbc. Okay, I would ensure that. Okay, that is the one. Next, so what will happen if you give the different port number? So in our mission, MySQL server is running in 3306 port number. So what will happen if you're trying to use 3307? See what happens. If you change this port number, what will happen? You'll get network error. See here, exception, communication exception, communication exception, and see here, this is actual networking related error because it uses some networking API. See here, the driver has not received any packet and driver has not received any. you'll get some exception. Connection refused. Connection refused. Because Java application trying to connect it to the MySQL server with this port number, but MySQL server not running in this port number. It is running in 3306. It's just like an address. Suppose I want to send one. I want to send one post. I want to send one post letter. Let's say I want to send one certificate to your address. Okay, you have given some address. Okay, let's say I have sent that. Okay, unfortunately, you have given some wrong address. I have changed it. You may have changed it. So is that post will get delivered? No, it won't, right? The postman or the delivery person trying to deliver that post, but he don't find that address. House number will be different. Then it will be revert. The same thing happened here. Okay, if the port number is different, if you're trying to use it, it won't work. Okay, it will refuse. Connection is refused. Okay, when you take the first program, you'll find this type of errors. Okay, that's why try to familiar with these errors. Don't get scared. Okay, 3306. And local host. Local host is actually our current mission. In the real world, what happened? In the real world, we'll connect with live servers. Okay, at the time we'll specify the corresponding address. Okay, but local machine means now we have installed the MySQL server in our local machine only. In my mission, you have installed your mission. So I'm connecting to that mission only. That's why that will consider as a local host. Okay, remember that. And you have to ensure this Jdbc underscore MySQL, which is mandatory URL. So if you change it, for example, if you change this instead of Jdbc colon MySQL, if you use MySQL colon Jdbc, something I'll change. Now does it work? No, it won't work. No suitable driver. It is saying no suitable driver because it's an invalid URL. So you have to ensure that it should be Jdbc colon MySQL. If you change any of these things, your program won't work. Even if you miss this semicolon also, it won't work. Okay, you have to remember exactly this one. Exactly this each line, each character is important. Okay, this is the actual URL. URL means address. Address of the server. Address of the database server is used by the Java application. This only. Okay, you have to ensure this proper address properly. Otherwise, it won't work because that is address, right? And next thing is username is by default username is admin username is root. And password I have in my mission I have set the password is issue I am using this. So if password is let's say I'm trying to enter the password root. Okay, so what will happen if the password is wrong? Now I got exception. SQL exception. Access denied. Access denied for the user. Okay, you'll get it like you'll get the access denied, but you don't get the error something like invalid password. You don't get it. Okay, remember. So you have to ensure the proper password. Don't use my password while you typing. Okay, if you use it, it won't work for you. Okay. So if everything is fine, it will get it. You can get work. Okay. Next thing. Now we are processing this select query, right? So what will happen if the table is not there in the table? I don't have that employee table in the database, but I'm trying to query. See what happened. Now I'm trying to use table name as employee. Employee is the table name, right? Let's say I'm trying to change this to the employees. In database, in H21234 underscore Jdbc, we have created the table name is employee, but I'm trying to use it as employees. So what will happen if you give the not existed table name? Again, it is an error. Now, see here. Now this is a proper message you're getting. So you have to understand the error, why it is getting error. That is important. Now it is clearly saying that table, that is H2123, is database name. Okay. In the database, this is employees doesn't exist. Doesn't exist, right? We don't have that. Table name is employee, not employees. Okay. So we have to ensure it employee. Okay, clear? Now these are very important. Only first, if you're able to execute the first program, okay, these are the things you have to ensure it. Okay. Now this is how you have to study actually. Okay, getting immediate result is not the good. You have to explore the what will happen. Let me give the invalid details. Okay, like we have to explore. Okay, hope it's clear. These are the things you have to do. And anyway, this is actually you have to remember the these are actually objects. You're supposed to which object you're supposed to use for the loading the item. Class dot for name to load the item. And rest of the connection you have to remember this. To get the connection, we require connection object you need to create. How to get the connection? Driver may dot get connection method. Passing URL, username, and password. So after that, you have to create the statement object. Create statement. Then which query you want to process? Select query. To process select query, we have to call execute query method. And we have some other methods also there to process the insert query, update query, delete query. We have another method. But execute query method should be used only for select query method. Select query only, right? This is select query. To process select query only, we require execute query method. Okay, and return the result set. So after get result set, then you have to get one by one field. Then you have to use this loop by checking orange.next method. Now this loop will get repeated until the records are done. For example, if you have the 3 records, 3 times it will iterate. If you have 1 record, only 1 time it will iterate. And you have to get the one by one field value. To get that, we need to use the get data type methods. So we need to call get int method. If the data type is integer in the database, you can check it also. Here in the employee table, if you just alter table, you can get it. And you can see the data type fields. Integer ID. Employee ID data type is int in the database. Name data type is var. Salary is double. So then you have to use this appropriate get int for the integer type, get string for the string, get double. And I'm passing the ID, name, salary. These are the field names. These are field names. What will happen if the field is invalid? Suppose if I use field name is something like ID, I'll take like this, employee, but I don't have employee ID. What will happen if you give the invalid column name again? You'll get error. Column employee ID not found. See here, column employee not found. It's not there, right? It's clear side. So you have to ensure that. Clear? Now this is one. This is you can call directly like this. And another approach is also there. What you can do, I'll show you. Now you can call this. Let me just comment this. I'm commenting this. So what I'm doing here. So you can also call this by using index also. Okay, you can pass the column name or you can use index. Index is like 1. First column is 1. Second column is 2. Third column is 3. Okay, you can use index numbers also. Column index number also you can able to use to retrieve the data. These are the two possibilities. One is you can get the field by column name or you can use by index. 1, 2, 3. Starting from 1, not 0. Okay, what will happen if you use index is something like 4 I am using? What will happen? See here, these are the two, but it's trying to get that fourth index is not available. Column index out of range. Okay, it's actually 3. 3 columns. Index is 1, 2, 3. Okay, clear? You can use either use column name or you can use index. Starting from 1, 1. Okay. For example, if you have one more column, then you can use that index 4. That's something. Okay. Clear? Clear, everybody? Please confirm. Are you clear? Are you comfortable? How to get started with this? Okay. That's it. Now I'll stop here. And what you're supposed to do. Now here I have taken the employee table, right? I have taken the employee table we have created, and I'm getting some employee details. So in the same way, you can create one more example with a different table. First, you have to do the practice, what we have discussed here. I'll share the document. Okay, anyway, you'll get this document, right? You'll get this document, you can find this. But the thing here, you have to try another example with a different object. Like employee have taken, you can take a student or a mobile or a laptop or a mobile, whatever it can be. Okay. Add some 3 properties and store some records and try to retrieve it. Okay, that is the homework. First, do the practice what we have discussed in the session. After that, you can try on another object. Okay, clear? And if you have any doubts, just go back to the recording. Okay, if you stuck at any point, just go to revise the okay individually. Okay, we'll catch up in the tomorrow. Bye.